There are 12 houses, each representing a key part of life, from health to money to relationships and everything in between. Consider the wheel of houses as a map in the sky, with planets constantly moving from house to house. When you're born, each planet was in a certain house, and those houses can be seen in your birth chart. The houses are determined by the time you were born, not just the date, so you might need to text your parents to find this out. Comment below if you know exact time of your birth and you want to know your ascendant. In astrology, the first house is known as the sign of the self. It connotes who somebody is, their identity. This implies that the body, the psyche and the behaviors are to a great extent impacted by this house and any planet or astrological point that is situated inside it. Everything that is related to appearance falls under the rulership of this house. The parts of the chart near the ascendant are in charge of the physical self, while parts of it close to the second house speak more about the behaviors, as well as the style, appearance and everything visible about that person. In terms of parts of the body, the first house rules one's head and face, and also the parts of the mind that are in charge of conscious thought and activities. We will later observe that the more intuitive parts of the mind are instead governed by the 12th house, particularly by the area that is close to the ascendant sign. The ascendant is the sharp focus of our reality. This is the reason that all planets that are connected to it affect the body and are also associated with practically everything about the person. The local is channeling these planets' energies through them. It is a fairly positive thing to have planets existing in the first house, particularly when they are very much aspected. All planets can be a positive influence, even the more intimidating planets such as Saturn, Mars or Uranus, when they are placed inside the first house. The way they work relies upon the associations they have with other planets on the birth chart. The best ones to have, however, will always be the Sun, Jupiter or Venus, as they give great energy and encourage the person to live contentedly. Pluto can give an exceptionally serious identity, while Mercury a splendid personality. Neptune and the Moon every now and again makes for a very caring individual. In any case, all planets have both positive and negative qualities when situated in the first house of the self. In astrology, the second house, which is also called house of value, is all about possessions, money, material things, earnings and expenditures. It signifies the way someone attracts or repels money and also the way that he or she chooses to spend it. One's values on ownership is also expressed here, as well as one's system of values. The second house is traditionally ruled by Taurus and its ruling planet Venus. More specifically, the second house rules everything that involves one's financial standing. Liquid assets fall into this category, while one's houses and land are ruled by other houses in the natal chart. The second house does not only express the personal assets of the natal chart owner, but also their feelings towards those assets. After all, the feelings we have towards material things create the drive and motivations that we have when it comes to earning or spending them in the first place. Venus feels at home in the second house, while Jupiter is also great to have. The planet Jupiter expands anything that he touches and definitely gives a great boost to anything concerning money. Saturn, if well aspected, is not a bad indicator either. On the contrary, the otherwise malefic planet can bring a lot of wealth, but this usually comes towards the later stages of one's life or through a lot of effort that builds up through time. Mars and Uranus are probably the worst planets to have in the house, especially if they are debilitated by the zodiac sign or adversely aspected. They can mean a loss of income and general instability. Curiously enough, having the Sunday is not a great indicator either. One would expect that the Sun would offer a lot of wealth, but the truth is that it is more responsible for a lot of expenses instead. The person needs to use their assets to express their identity, without taking care to save anything for tomorrow or otherwise plan their expenses. Correspondence, travel, and one's skills and talents are additionally referred to in this particular area of the natal chart. Having Mercury as its ruling planet, the third house is in charge of communication. Consequently, the house incorporates both the activities that surround communication and the technology that one employs to transmit knowledge. Phones, letters, and even little strolls to see a nearby companion are altogether subjects of the third house. Even television, radios, the internet and daily papers form an imperative piece of mass communication. Additionally, Early education and endeavors towards learning are favored by this house, which conveys how one processes and analyzes data. The third house directs school, at least until high school, and sets the foundations for learning, which is then taken over in later years by the ninth house instead. The third house additionally governs how one deals with standard practices in society. This includes everything from how you carry on when you go to the nearby grocery store, to how you welcome your neighbor. It is our eyes and ears, how we recognize the world around us. Watching which planets are situated in the third house can enable us to comprehend through what lenses we are seeing reality. Remember that it rules low-level correspondence and discussion, thus chit-chatting, social visits and casual banter are certainly likewise spoken to here. Needs and wants to be educated are communicated through this third house as well, and also a considerable measure of issues surrounding how one uses of the web are to be seen here. An active third house can make somebody a blogger, a data addict, an admirer of languages, or just somebody that likes a decent joke. If you liked this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. The fourth house sits at the base of the chart and symbolizes home and family. Natal planets in the fourth house reveal an individual's relationship with the maternal figure, as well as their unique outlook on domesticity. Planets moving across the fourth house often encourage us to invest in our infrastructure by creating more private, nurturing spaces that make us feel safe, loved, and cared for. The fourth house also rules your relationships with people, and pets, who are family, either blood or chosen. This house corresponds with Cancer energy. This playful zone of the fifth house is linked to creativity, romance, and children. Natal planets in the fifth house are linked to your intrinsic artistic expression, while planets transiting the fifth house often deliver eureka moments that boost our confidence. The fifth house is all about what makes you feel good, whether it's orgasms, attention, or the fulfilling work of a creative project. This house corresponds with Leo energy. For better understanding, you should watch my other video about influence of planets to houses and their rulers. I will leave link in description. The sixth house corresponds with health, wellness, and daily routines, including odd jobs. Where the body you're born with exists in the first house, the choices made over a lifetime create the body found in your sixth house. Naturally, our environment and life choices affect our health, such as self-care, having a good work-life balance, and whether you spend enough, or too much, time in the sun. So let this house remind you to pay attention to your physical and mental well-being. Those with natal planets in this zone are often fueled by organization and structure and tend to focus on time and calendar management. Planets transiting the sixth house help us form habits and redefine our schedules. This house corresponds with Virgo energy. Natal the seventh house rules one's marriage and romantic relationships. The zodiac sign of the seventh house and any planets within it can demonstrate a great deal about the character of your lover. To be perfectly clear, in astrology, marriage doesn't technically have anything to do with getting a marriage license. Somebody can be spiritually married regardless of whether a wedding happens or not, but rather whether the relationship is of profound significance between the two persons. When we look at the seventh house and follow the planetary transits, we can find the start of one's relationship with their life partner, and even its conceivable ending. If it is the case that the seventh house is empty of planets, the ruling planet of the zodiac sign where the seventh house falls is where we should look to for all issues surrounding the relationship. The second child of the individual is likewise a seventh house matter, as additionally are the maternal grandparents. The eighth house rules death. The eighth house is the darkest area of one's natal chart, as it rules death. It can show the way one will pass away, or even close encounters with death that the individual will experience in one's life. The eighth house rules the occult and magic. The eighth house in astrology also happens to be the house of the occult. It is an immediate door to alternate universes, the place of mystery and truth. The eighth house rules sexuality. Sex is an act that is intrinsically spiritual, so long as we don't consider it when it is something that is done for fun and entertainment. In its purest sense, sex is the opposite of death. It is the source and origin of life. The ninth house in astrology is also the ruler of religion and all that are associated with it. Clerics, preachers, and all spiritual individuals will show up through the ninth house, thus the condition and proximity of planets will tell us what sort of impact they will have on our world. The planets living in the ninth house likewise can indicate what religious path we will take after, as religions become critical channels of viewing the universe, and our place within it. The 10th house rules career. As the 10th house in astrology rules everything that is associated with one's profession, the zodiac sign at the cusp of the house and any planets that are placed within conveys the individual's occupation. Remember, that the 10th house isn't the ruler of the brief and odd jobs that one takes to scrape by. It does not rule occupations where you are simply just another worker. Instead, these are issues of the 6th house. The 10th house is in charge of your vocation in life. Your calling. It rules your cognizant strides towards dealing with something you adore and care for. The 11th house of friendship. Our social lives demonstrate our capacity to be loved by many individuals, and what is love if not a steady current of positive energy that can be later utilized for different reasons? Planets that are placed in the 11th house can indicate that we will have powerful figures as companions, and thus, they can often help us in different aspects of our lives. They can give us help in the form of introductions, opening doorways, or even monetary help. The 12th house, the house of secrets. All that is concealed, including the potentially disastrous secrets, are likewise matters of this 12th house. Hidden activities, illegal work, unlawful situations, and classified information are likewise categories that are affected by the 12th house. What's more, the house is a dependable place to look when one wants to learn about the kind of secrets that are in one's lives, both in ourselves and in the environment around us. Analysts and detectives can sometimes have planets here in the 12th house, bringing them bits of knowledge that assist their investigations. Here, one can likewise find indications of an individual's hidden adversaries, and having malefic planets situated in the house can demonstrate to us a considerable measure about their essence and nature. Thank you for watching whole video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, it means a lot. There are so many things about houses in natal chart. If you want to understand how to read one, then you should definitely watch my other video about planets. Link is in description.